Did anyone go to Pride? I went to Pride this weekend. It was a fucking blast. Went with my lovely lady, Rachel, and got to go with another coworker. She it's really cool. I've worked with her for like a year, so I know her pretty well, but I've never gotten to hang out with her outside of work. And she ended up being really cool, a lot of fun. The thing I love about Pride is that everyone just gets to be themselves as much as it is to celebrate the huge change that they, being gay, the gay community has made in our society, the huge progress that they've made. As much as it is to celebrate that, I go and celebrate being myself. I wore this fucking fabulous outfit. I wore some really high up short shorts, khaki short shorts with a pink button up, some white suspenders, and I have a pink strap back hat. Wore that. I was looking pretty fly, if I do say so myself. And the boys were waving because they was going crazy. Crazin'? I was trying to rhyme, but I was going to say crazin'. Anyways, back to Pride. Couple cool things that happened was at the parade. Now, I had gone to the festival a few times, the thing that they do on Saturday, and then they do the parade on Sundays. I never got to see the parade before, so I made it a point to go to the parade this time. We stayed in Oakland the night before, and then we went to San Francisco via the BART train, and got into the city, and everyone was just wildin'. We went straight to the Civic Center Plaza, and that's where the parade route ended. First thing you see is the bikes. The bikes come first. They're a ways ahead of the parade itself because they're on bikes and everyone else is walking. And then there was a Black Lives Matter float. They weren't really floats, it was just different groups of people walking, and they had a DJ booth with them, and they were, DJing a little oonks, 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 and the person was chanting, trans Black Lives Matter, trans Black Lives Matter, trans Black Lives Matter. And then it was going, Black Trans Lives Matter, Black Trans Lives Matter, Black Trans Lives Matter, as the DJ was mixing it up. The DJ was trying to mix it, and the MC was trying to fill that vibe. Eventually, they stopped, and they kept the chant, and the chant slowly evolved into this acid trippy, deadheady type thing. I had just sparked a J, and I think it was godsend. It was perfect timing, because as I was sparking the J, the MC broke into Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, trans Black Lives, trans Black Lives, trans Black Lives, trans Black Lives, over and over and over again. For it felt like 5-10 minutes of just this evolving chant dedicated to Black trans lives mattering. But so we made our way into the festival that was in the Civic Center Plaza. They had like 6 blocks blocked off. So it was like, if you've been to San Francisco or any downtown area, it's a grid system. They had like 2 blocks going east and west, and like 3 blocks going north and south blocked off. It was crazy. They had DJs on every corner. The main stage had some drag queens coming out. We came across a leather exhibit or leather section, leather alley. I don't know what it definitely involved leather. I don't know what type of setting you would put it as, but they were IDing. The line was huge, but the line was going fast. So it was like half of a block. The line was half of a block, but we got in probably 15 minutes. We get in there, they ID us, and pay $5 donation. The person that was with us was low on cash, so they let us get in, 3 of us for $12. But that's one thing I really liked about that place. The whole, like, everywhere you went wasn't You didn't have to pay, but they asked you to, and if you have the money, that's cool. If you don't, that's also cool that they let you go in and participate, because support is the biggest thing. So we went in, and the first thing you see when you get in is the best thing I can describe it as is a kennel. It was a kennel sectioned off, probably 20 square feet, and no, not 20 square feet. I'm sorry. This isn't a math class. It was a normal size section. There was probably 10 guys in there. They were all wearing wrestling singlets and dog masks, leather dog masks. And some of you know where this is going, but I will tell you, I had no idea. We go in, and I'm kind of checking it out, like, what the hell is this? And Rachel goes, oh, I know what that is. And as she says that, a man who was guarding the area, he looked like a guard, he goes, feel free to pet the animals. Some of them even like to get kicked. So yeah, these were human dogs. So I was a little turned off. I was like, it's a little sketchy. I don't really want to be petting these guys, because I don't like to be pet. But then I realized to myself, if these guys are in here, they're in here because they like to get pet. So Rachel kind of looks at me. She's like, I'm going to pet them. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to pet them too. My friend from work did not want to do that. But I'll tell you, it's a weird feeling when you scratch your friend's back. If you have an itch on your back and you scratch their back, it feels good because you're helping your friend out. And that friend feels good because getting your back scratched feels good. But it's a whole nother level when that person is pretending to be a dog, because you all know how dogs react when you scratch their back. But then this person has the mental capacity of a human. It's just weird. It was not weird, because I know that could be offensive to people that feel this way, that identify with people that are like into this dog stuff. But like, I don't mean weird in a bad way. It just was an odd feeling that I have never felt before, and it was cool. Then we go down the way a little bit, and there are 4 people tied up to different types of posts, getting tortured in different types of ways. There was the traditional whip. There was some guy that had like a little shoelace type whip that he was like just spinning around and just giving this person little like paper cut style little lashings. That was fucking crazy. But the most odd thing I saw in that particular exhibit is the man that was tied up. He was tied up to an X, kind of like what you see on the not Walking Dead, but Game of Thrones, when Theon Greyjoy was tied up to that thing whenever he got his balls cut off. Tied him up to that X, right? They call it a rack. So he was up on the rack, and this fucking guy, he was in a mask. He was pinning. Oh, and the guy on the rack was in a Speedo, but the dominant one, the fucking dude that was inflicting all the damage, had clothespins and was sticking clothespins all over his body. He made 2 circles around his nipples, so 1 circle around each nipple. He hit the V for where like your pant line is. He put on both sides of his abdomen there. He put the clothespins. He put clothespins all on his face, along on his lips, his chin, where his beard would be. And then he brought out a like a cat of 9 tails looking thing, except it didn't have fish hooks on it. And he started just whipping this man but not hard, just kind of lightly, just brushing over the clothespins, just brushing over the clothespins. And you see the guy, he's like slowly shaking, and he's like, you could tell he was not, like, he was in pain. And that's when I started thinking, I was like, how can this be sexual to someone? Because I mean, I'm looking right at him. He's practically naked. He has a Speedo on. He doesn't have a boner. And that's when I realized like, it might be more like cutting to some people, where like the endorphins and the dopamines that get released from that physical pain gets you kind of just aroused. I don't know if anyone is into this kind of stuff. I would love to have a conversation with you. It seemed, I mean, everything there was loving. It was really, I mean, not necessarily in that section, but everything at the Pride Festival was full of love. It was really an amazing thing to be a part of. I'm going to go every year. I've been 3 times over the last 5 years, but I'm going to go again for sure. That was the leather exhibit. It was fucking really cool. I'm going to take a swig of my my raspberry and blueberry milkshake here. It's not a milkshake, it's a smoothie. Give me 1 second. That's some bomb shit, boy. But then we went around. There was only one. They had 6 blocks sectioned off, as I told you before. 3 going north and south, 2 east and west. That makes 6. So you might be thinking like, oh wow, how can they section all those blocks off with all those businesses? Most of them were closed, but there was one restaurant ran by the most badass Korean lady I have ever met. People kept trying to come in there with liquor, and she'd go, "Nuh-uh, sweetheart. You have to leave, sweetheart. Get out of here." Right? I know that accent's offensive, but get the fuck over it. It's for the story. We went to one part of the festival that was just bumping. Most of the corners had DJs, and they were playing like just house music, but this one corner was fucking getting it in. They were playing Kendrick. They were playing Rob Stone. They was playing Little John. They were getting it in. That's where everyone was. And I had not smoked weed all day, other than at the very beginning of the parade. So this was like 5 o'clock. I was like, man, I'm having withdrawals. I need to get my fix, boy. So I went into the crowd to smoke and dance. I really like to dance. So I ended up walking my way back after getting high. And Rachel was not in the place where I left her with Kelly. It was just Kelly. And I was like, where'd Rachel go? She went in to find me, into this smoky, loud, crowded environment where someone had tried selling me Molly 3 minutes earlier. So I was like, that's not good. We waited for her. As she was coming out, some guy stopped her and was talking to her. She rubbed her belly. I was like, oh, that's cute. And this man told her, 1, congratulations on having a baby. 2, this isn't the right environment for you. So, sir, I mean, if you're listening, which you're not, but let this be a lesson. I mean, thanks, man, for making us aware that that wasn't the environment for her, but you slowed her down from exiting the environment, to tell her that she should leave the environment. So, just be more aware. Also, you don't know shit. So, I mean, I really do appreciate you being, thoughtful, but, you don't know shit. So just keep that in mind. Keep your opinions to yourself. Other than that, it was a great festival. That wasn't even really a bad part of the thing. It was just another thing. I was stoned at that time, so I got super paranoid. I was like, oh no, I'm a bad dad. And stuff like that. But don't worry about that kind of thing. People will judge if they want to judge. Hopefully the smoothie doesn't thin out too much while I'm trying to ramble to you guys, because I see it right now. It's thinning out. It's getting a little watery. I'm going to take another sip. Give me a second. Oh, man, nothing like a blueberry and raspberry mustache. That, because you leave it in the mustache because you can lick it for later. Let's see what other shit I have on the agenda today. Oh, podcasts. Thank you for listening. See, last week or 2 weeks ago when I recorded this, I had nothing written down to talk about, so I only went for 5 minutes. But I had a lot to talk about today. We already made it to 30 minutes. I told you guys I'm going to try to do 30 minutes every week. And it's really cool that I made it because I went to Pride, so I had extra to talk about. But I won't always have it, but like I told you guys last week, it's all about baby steps. It's all about getting closer to the prize every time. So, the dilemma I'm at with podcasting is, although I'm doing this one by myself, it's probably pretty boring. I won't be getting much feedback because I'm not famous, and there's no reason for people to listen to this thing other than me doing boots on the ground, grassroots. Hey, listen. Hey guys, listen to this. Please listen, So I feel like this podcast is fun, and I try to be as funny and entertaining as possible, but at the end of the day, this is not my goal. It is not my goal to do a monologue style podcast. I want to do podcasts with my groups of friends, and eventually, if I do make a name for myself with, famous people, celebrities, doctors, politicians, people that fucking matter. But it's hard to get started because you can't just start interviewing politicians and doctors and fucking famous people. I have to start by doing it with my friends, but my friends don't have the same passion for it as I do. So, I don't know, that's just a thing that I've been running into recently. I'm trying to just work my way through it. Again, it's all about just chugging along, putting in the work. Every finished product is a finished product. A lot of people don't see what it takes to get